Welcome back to Parts Random. Today's episode, I want to do a walkthrough of a game I recently got called DayZ for the Xbox One. It's a survival-based game. It's a post-apocalyptic game where a virus has wiped out most of the world and your whole goal in the game is just survive. So let's jump in. I have to say this is one of the most frustrating and at the same time weirdly enjoyable games I've played in quite a while. So when you start the game, you're going to connect to some server. Now this is a PvP and PvE game, so there are a number of things that will kill you in the game. There are zombies, which can hurt you and kill you. There is the environment itself in terms of thirst, hunger, exposure, your overall health. And of course, other players in the game can attack you, and almost certainly will. I think one of my first complaints when I played this game was the look of the game is terrible. The graphics and models they use, it just looked horrible. So I wasn't very impressed with the game when I first started playing it. And it's super frustrating at the beginning because you literally get one life, and when you die, you start all over again from the very beginning. But that does make it more interesting in terms of the choices you need to make and how careful you want to be. When I first started playing the game, I would just run around, wasn't sure what I was looking for. There's very little direction or hints in the game. And so eventually I would just die of hunger because I wouldn't have enough food. So when the game starts, you're going to be down near the coast somewhere, and you can see that you're always given a set of rags that you can use to treat wounds, a glow stick, which you can use when it gets dark, and a piece of fruit, which you can use for health. Down in the bottom, you can see there's a number of indicators. The one on the left that looks like a bottle is your thirst indicator. You can see a little arrow indicating it's going down, which means basically your thirst is going up. Then to the right of that is an apple, which is for your hunger. It is also going down. Then a thermometer to the right of that, which is your core body temperature. Then there is looks like a teardrop, which is whether you are currently losing blood. If you get cut, you'll start losing blood. You'll have to bandage it or you'll bleed to death. And then the plus sign on the far right is your overall health indicator. If that goes to 0, you're dead. There are 3 basic areas of the inventory. One is what's currently on your person, the equipment. One is what's on the ground around you, the vicinity. One is whatever you have in your hand. The first thing you're going to want to do is to find a town. You're going to want to find food and water, because otherwise you're going to die of thirst or hunger. So I can see there's a telephone pole over here that probably leads to civilization, so I'm going to run towards it. And there's a building, so I'm going to head towards the building. Now you can see as I'm running towards the building, the thirst indicator now has 2 arrows, which means my thirst is going up pretty fast. You want to really ideally keep those all at 1, which means moving pretty slowly. Okay, so you want to look through all the buildings with closed doors. That means no one has looted it yet. Sometimes the objects you'll find are pretty small and hard to see. An easy way to see if anything's right nearby you is to bring up your inventory and you'll see it in the vicinity. So you can see there's a coat there. If I move closer to it, and you'll see it's now in the vicinity window. You often want to do this with clothing inside buildings because there may be pockets in the clothing that may contain food or other items. I don't need that shirt, so I'm just not going to bother filling up my inventory. If you spawn down near the actual ocean, you're going to want to go look around and see if there's any boats. Oftentimes you can find a rucksack near the boats, which will give you more inventory space. So there wasn't much here, so let's move on. As you can see right over there, there's a zombie standing in the field. There's another one up there. My advice would be generally stay away from the zombies. You're either going to spend a lot of effort and energy fighting them, or they're going to hurt you and ultimately lead to your demise. Another frustrating bit is that whenever you open doors, the collision detection works against the character, which if it opens towards you will push your character out of the way, which is super annoying. I don't know why they did that. They should have just made them pass right through your character. So if you watch me, I'll often go up to a door. I'll actually hit X and then quickly step back so it doesn't hit me. Oh, so this zombie's hitting me. So now, didn't really want to fight him, but I got no choice. Okay. Now, if he had hurt me, next to the bottle, you would see looks like a slash with drips on it. It means you're bleeding, and then you're going to want to apply bandages. As I said before, you can tell the models in the game are really crappy. I mean, some bullets, teddy bear, which kind of useless. Apparently the teddy bear is useful because it can actually hold an item. Okay, you can see down in the right hand corner my thirst has gone to yellow, which means it's getting low. I'm going to have to find some water pretty soon. Most foods, when you eat them, will give you some amount of water. Okay, so I found a hammer, so that's kind of good. I can actually equip that into my hand. Now that'll act like a weapon, which is useful. You'll want to keep an eye out on the ground also, because sometimes you'll find mushrooms, which you can eat. Okay, that's an actual another player. Oh, and he's gonna wants to fight. All right. Okay. And now the zombie wants to fight. Okay, so that first person that attacked me was an actual player. And you can see he had a fair amount of loot, so now I can steal all his loot. He also had a backpack, which is super useful because I need one of those. So I'm going to temporarily drop my hammer. You can see that it went up into the vicinity. And I'm going to go up here and grab the backpack. Then I'm going to go over here and then equip that. And what else has he got? Trousers, that looks pretty normal. Okay, he's got a military jacket. I'm going to take that and drop my hoodie because that's not as warm. Say the hoodie's not as warm. So put that in my hand and then equip that. Now I'm going to take everything out of my hoodie, which is on the ground now, and put it in my backpack. Take the hat. It's kind of goofy looking, but Okay, so we got a backpack now. That's pretty awesome. That gives us more space. You can see it can hold 42 pounds. We're about halfway full. You can get much bigger backpacks. You can get mountaineering backpacks eventually. And there's a shirt. Now you notice that the take option didn't come up on the shirt. That's because I don't have enough space in my backpack. But if I look, I'll see that there are bandages inside the pocket of the crop hiking pants. So I'm going to take those. And let's check the condition of these. Badly damaged, so we're not going to take those. All right. Another thing to be careful of is that when you pick things up, obviously sometimes if you have something in your hand, it'll drop on the ground and you won't realize it, and then you'll run away and realize, oh, where did my hammer go? And meanwhile it's laying back on the ground someplace, and now it's super hard to find. If you look online, there are maps of the world. The world is pretty massive. It's like hundreds of square kilometers in size. But what you can do is you'll find these signs, and you know they're all written in presumably something that looks like Russian. You can go online and look up what these names are and locate where you are on the map. There are some pretty decent maps out there that show you what you can find in those areas, where each building is, what spawns there. There is a full night day cycle in the game, so it will become dark and it'll get very dark. There is also a full weather system, so it'll start raining, your clothes will get wet, you're going to need to dry them out somehow. You can take them off and wring them out by hand. Otherwise, again, your temperature will go down, you'll die of exposure. Basically, everything in the game is trying to kill you. Okay, so here, drop my hammer for a second. There's a weird bug that if you look at objects in the vicinity, it doesn't tell you what they are. If you pick them up in your hands, it'll show you what they are. So these are trail shoes. These are definitely better than my crappy sneakers. So I'm going to drop my sneakers and put on my newly acquired trail shoes. Since I have the space, I'm also going to take this hoodie just in case my clothes get wet. I can swap them out and have dry clothes on. Again, you can see this constant going up to the door and then having to back up so I don't get hit by it. Notice when I ran through that bush, it asked me if I wanted to chop it down. You can get sticks out of it and make a fire, which you can use to either cook food or keep you warm. Okay, so we found a battery. So found some crappy cropped hiking pants, which I'm going to leave, but I am going to take the battery because I can use that in a flashlight if I find it. Might as well take the cap, it doesn't hurt. Okay, a jerry can. We could probably fill that with water or something. With my hammer just in case. I'm gonna go the other way and avoid that zombie. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, that's good. That's a water bottle. So generally the water bottles have water in them when you find them. So I'm going to temporarily drop my hammer, grab my water bottle, and take a drink. found that with a lot of stuff, when you consume it, once you can see those 3 arrows go up, I usually stop. If you start eating something too fast or too much of it, especially if it's contaminated, you'll almost certainly throw up, and then your dehydration and hunger will go back down. Okay, so any of these doors with bars across them, you can't go in, so there's no point of checking. Now you can hear my guy shivering because my body temperature is going down. You can see my food is going down a lot, so as you get cold, your food usage will go up. So I'm going to eat some food, even though I only got 1 piece. So put that in my hand. Oh, that's super useful. You definitely want to find and take any knives you find. There are a number of animals in the game that you can butcher for food, but you need a knife. Definitely going to take a shovel. You can use the shovel to plant certain foods. If you look in the greenhouses, you can often find seed packets, which you can then plant and use to grow food. Okay, let's see. Yeah, everything's pretty wet. This is not good. I'm pretty low on food and I'm getting cold. And it's lightning out. So I'm going to swap out hats. The nice thing about this hat that's on the table here, the boonie hat, is it has a spot for a fishing hook. So if you find a hook or make one, you can use it to fish, and you can put it in your hat and it won't take up an inventory slot. Alright, let's see. This is good. This is a bigger backpack. See, this is a mountain backpack. It has space for 80 pounds of items versus my current one, which is 42. So I'm going to drop my current one since it's soaking wet anyways. Equip the new one. Then I'm going to go over here and take all this stuff. And I'll leave the old backpack. Okay, now I need to find food desperately. Ideally, I would search that greenhouse, but I just want to get out of the rain as quickly as possible. Again, you can hear my guy shivering. You can see now my health is also going down, and my hunger is almost at max, or its lowest level. I can hear a rooster off in the distance. If I could find him, I could slaughter him and eat him, but I don't know where it is. Okay, you can see it's getting dark out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily drop my jacket. Now I'm going to go over here in my inventory. I'm going to pick up one of my glow sticks, hit the right trigger, and it'll give me light. Now what I can do with this is I can attach it to my mountain backpack. If you look over at the mountain backpack, you'll see there's a slot for a glow stick. So I'll equip that, and now it's attached to my backpack. And now don't need to hold it in my hand. I'm going to drop my coat for a second and hold my knife. I need to find that chicken if I want to survive. Here, chicky. There it is. Now I'm going to crouch down, slowly approach it, and attack it. Okay, so now I got a chicken. I should be able to butcher it. Okay, cursor on it. So there you go. So now I can skin and quarter it. Since I'm starving to death, I'm not even going to bother cooking it. Take the bones, take the chicken steaks. See, my health is almost to 0. I'm starving, I'm thirsty. You can see my character is starting to hunch over and starting to move a lot slower. So I have almost no chance of surviving now. This has never worked, but generally at this point I'm gonna give up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run back in the house and drop all my stuff. I don't know whether if I die it just stays here or not. So I figure if I drop it, maybe if I respawn near here, I might get lucky and find it all again. Or at least someone else will. So I'm just going to drop all this stuff. And I'm dead. And that's the game. The first time I played it, it's super frustrating because you just die all the time and fairly quickly until you get the hang of what to go for. But you know, I still haven't gotten to the point where I'm able to build a farm. Some people are able to build fortifications and farms and other things. I'm nowhere near that point. But it's interesting and keeps me coming back to it, even though the graphics suck in it. But overall, it's I think it was worth the $30. I don't think I would pay $60 for it, which I think is the normal price. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, take care.